back to another episode of BJJ Boost podcast. Today I'm going to dive in a little bit on the journaling process, and I'm going to dive into a little bit of the daily tasks. So last episode we did a one-on-one call with Adam. That went really smooth. I felt like it went smooth. But the thing that I want you guys to understand is that when you download this app, you have to use the app. Okay? I know that we have a lot going on in life, and there's sometimes that when I'm using the app I feel like I don't know if I can accomplish all this, or this feels like a lot. But you have to simplify it, okay? Like, you have to take out that you're looking for the end result, right? Like, you're looking for being a world champion, or you're looking for being a better partner in your relationship, or you're looking for a better business, or a nicer car, a nicer house, whatever it is. I fully understand that, okay? And I spent my entire life like looking at the bigger picture, and I was getting exhausted trying to want the bigger picture, but then realizing that I wasn't putting in like the little small pieces of daily tasks or effort to get that big picture, right? And I know that seems silly, but you have to embrace the daily grind. Like, you have to 100% get joy out of accomplishing small tasks every day. That's been my biggest change in this year, right? So like in December I decided that I'm going to start making life changes, and that I'm going to start being a better partner for Mandy. I'm going to start being a better father for Lucy. I'm going to start trying to be more intentional with the relationships in my life. I'm going to start trying to focus on building whatever business that I'm working on. So whether it's the gyms, or whether it's, King of the Mat, whether it's BJJ Boost, whatever, I'm going to be more intentional instead of sitting here trying to waste my time watching reels or playing games. And they all have their space. I'm not saying don't enjoy life, because I think we all need to have a place where we kind of like sit down and disconnect and relax, in an area of peace, right? But too many people are way too relaxed nowadays. Too many people are existing and not really diving in and trying to get their life to the next step. So what I'm saying is, when you download this app, it's going to be a lot. It should be a lot, okay? Because if it wasn't a lot and it was something that you could immediately accomplish and get fulfillment out of it, what would be the point? That would be like you starting jiu-jitsu and then you tapping out the black belt instructor, or winning every tournament like it's nothing. Well, what's the purpose in training jiu-jitsu? What's the purpose in drilling? What's the purpose in showing up? So the app is the same as your jiu-jitsu, okay? If you're not going to show up on the app, you're probably not going to show up in jiu-jitsu, okay? And you can say, well, yeah, I'm showing up, but how many people are showing up just like in life? How many people are showing up to jiu-jitsu and sitting on the mats and watching the technique, or watching and the instructor show whatever they're instructing, and then going over with their partner and drilling it 2 or 3 times, and then sitting on the wall the rest of the time? Or they're sitting on the wall because they lost one round, or that round was so difficult for them, and it really made them struggle, and their heart rate got up there, or they didn't like the way that they felt, or they felt so vulnerable that they don't want to get back out there. And that's the thing, right? Like, that's the exact same thing as using this app. That's the same thing as whatever you're doing in life. Are you existing and just doing the motions, and then you're hiding the rest of the time because you're too scared to be vulnerable, to get out there and to actually get your life to the next level? So when you're using this app, hold yourself accountable. I'm not saying you have to be perfect at it a day. There's a lot to it. It was designed with 10 years of failure put into it. Like, all of my failures, all of my struggles, all of the things that I've had ups and downs, I put into this app. I put into the boot camp process for you to take ownership and to understand that you have to stop existing, you have to be vulnerable, and you have to get beyond that. So when you download the app, do the boot camp. Like you can just listen. You can listen to it in the car. You can listen to it when you're walking, whatever the case is. But do the boot camp and hold yourself accountable to doing it correctly. Like even if you listen to it all the way and you get to the benchmark part and you're starting to hit the benchmarks, you can still listen to it and then write down in your phone or on a piece of paper, hey, I got to get a 2-minute video of me drilling this. Hey, I got to get, like these are all things that don't take a lot of work, but are you existing or are you actually expanding and getting your game to the next level or your life to the next level? Because if you sit down and you're honest with yourself, I think you know the answer. So I'm going to dive in to how I do a journal, and I've done I mean I've done a journal every day for this entire year except maybe 10 times I've missed. Like I have taken the time to choose one person in my life every day for this entire year to be appreciative towards, to be grateful towards, to say thank you. I think sometimes, again, we're running through the motions and we're existing in our relationships with our partners, we're existing with our relationships with our friends right now. And even though we have the social media and we have all these tools in front of us now, we're so disconnected as a society that it's kind of sad. So to me, it's simple, I choose one person every day and then I all I have to do is show gratitude or appreciation and then take a screenshot and check in for my point for the day for choosing a person in my life. And I know that seems silly and you're like, "Well, I can do that without the app." Okay, well, why aren't you doing it? Like why are you not doing just like the expand tab? Every day I'm going to go out and I'm going to seek one video on how to improve my game. All of these things inside the app have to go beyond what your daily existence is. Okay? So I see a lot of people using the app, and it's okay because in the beginning when you start using the app, it shouldn't be perfect. The app is evolving just like your jiu-jitsu is evolving, just like your life's evolving. It should constantly start climbing and climbing. If it's staying the same, and you're doing the rotations, then you're not growing in your life. So with the expand tab, I see a lot of people putting what they learned in class, right? Like, okay, the instructor showed an armbar today. That's not how the expand tab works. You can do that, and you can do it, but if you're holding yourself accountable and living by a code inside the app, every day you're gonna keep getting better and better, and it doesn't have to be like huge leaps. It can just be small things like you're figuring out how to hold yourself more accountable a little bit each day. So with the expand tab, it's about you going outside of class. It's about you going outside of your daily routines, um, and seeking a video that's going to improve your jiu-jitsu. And then when you find that video, it can be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever the time is. But it's as soon as you find a detail in that video. Okay, so like when I was watching a video the other day of maintaining back control and how he throws the arm over, and like we traditionally grab the wrist, whatever the case is, even with the monkey grips. But as somebody strips the grip, right, we lose the grip. So the way that he explained it was that I want to latch, right? Like I want to turn the hand over and latch, and then I want to have this like connection, right? So that when someone pulls on that, it's like they're pulling against that wall, and then I can suck the arms in. And that right there stood out to me. That was when I was watching the video. The one thing was what I call discovered, and now I'm gonna declare. Okay, so I discovered that technique, and I'll take a screenshot of that technique, and then I'm gonna go to my daily task tab. I'm gonna click on expand. I'm gonna click my one point. I'm going to put that screenshot in there, and then I'm going to do a brief summary of what I discovered and what I want to declare to my game. And it's that simple. Like that right there, you do that 365 times a year. How can your game and your mind not expand inside the sport on top of just showing up to class? And that process takes 5 to 10 minutes. 5 to 10 minutes of your time every day. Like I don't remember what it was going around on social media the other day, but it's like if you pick one thing to do and you do it for 10 minutes every day, like you're going to start to see huge improvements, okay? But we get into these things in our life where we do the habit for 1 day, 2 days, and then we miss 5 days, and then we do it for 1 day, and then we miss 5 days. And that's not how you're going to get your life to the next level. That's how I spent my entire 39 years of existence, was doing life that way. And now I realize that success isn't an accident, neither is failure, right? So if you're not having success in areas of your life, there's a reason. And you have to start seeking those things out and take the next step so that you actually start to improve those areas. Now, let's dive in to exactly what it kind of looks like to go through a quick journal process. Um, and when you journal, like, it's going to start out bad. And you could say, well, I don't like journaling or I don't like doing these things, but I'm the same way. Like, I didn't like journaling either when I began. Like, I never journaled in my life. There's times that I bought journals for jiu-jitsu to write down, and I use them for a week, and I never get used again. But the neat thing about the journaling process inside the app is it really guides you, and you can let it take you anywhere. There's no right or wrong. Like every time you read the questions, like from the beginning of when I started journaling at the beginning of this year to now where it is, it's grown uh, immensely. Like I can't even explain how it started out with one word answers or not knowing what to say, kind of like starting this podcast, right? Like in the beginning of creating this podcast, it terrified me, like to sit here on camera, to try to create a product and to try to create a concept that's going to not only improve my life but improve others' lives, and you hope that you create something that is unique and special, and that's what we're all kind of in to this process of life, right? We're trying to find something that gives our lives value and allows us to get to the next level, and we want to feel like we accomplished something. So, but it's amazing that when we're running through the motions in our life, how we never feel accomplished. But if we just held ourselves accountable, like I want to find an excuse how to stop doing the re-engineering the mind series. I want to find an excuse to not show up to compete for my third place medal at the ADCC. And that's a true story that a lot of people don't realize. As they see competitors or they see people do things and they think that those people are extraordinary or those people are special, but realistically those people are the same as you, right? Like we're all terrified to take the leaps that we take sometimes. When I lost my first round at the ADCC, I was kind of frustrated. The rule set threw me off. The different approach and how the event ran compared to what I was used to completely threw my brain out of whack. My heart rate was up. My entire mind and body is like in this fight or flight mode, and I'm ready to just flight. So I just told myself, you know what? It is what it is. Like I'm gonna just show up, and maybe I'll lose the next round. Maybe, whatever will be, will be. So I showed up. I was able to get through the next round. I was able to get through the next round. I was able to get through the next round. And then I was able to take third place. And the cool thing about the entire process was I never had value in earning a third place medal until I earned that third place medal, right? Like a lot of tournaments, we show up, you get the third place medal, or you maybe win one and then you lose one and then you get a third place medal, and it's like, okay, well, whatever. This time it was cool to have to fight 3 matches just to earn third place. To me, meant something, and it was special that I didn't give up on myself and that I didn't sit there and make an excuse and find a way out, but I just showed up. Okay, so same thing with the app. Same thing in your relationships. Same thing with your jiu-jitsu. You have to show up. And when you show up, you have to be intentional. And you have to actually want to be present, and you want to have to learn something. Do you know how many times that I've asked students, hey, what do you guys want to learn today? I don't know. Everything. right? That's like the answer across the board for asking students. But imagine if somebody was like, you know what? I was learning how to maintain side control the other day and I couldn't maintain it. And this is the way that I'm doing it. Can you please help me figure out why I'm failing in this place right here so that I can improve my game and get it to the next level? And then after I'm shown that, okay, now I'm going to go drill this 100 times without resistance. Now I'm going to go drill this 100 times with resistance. Where your game would evolve to, right? Same thing inside your relationships, right? Instead of constantly waiting instead of thinking about, what you're going to say to the person that you're in front of, when you actually sit back and think about being present in that conversation, being present with that person, actually wanting to engage with them and to know them. And to some people, this might be simple. To some people, they're good at this and, they're present and they're engaged. We all have the areas in our lives where we have our strengths and our weaknesses, right? And I think one of my weaknesses in my life has always been to focus on hearing what others say and to genuinely be present in the conversation instead of trying to um, essentially be funny or have some type of witty comeback, to just instead disconnect from the overthinking in my mind and to be present. And maybe that's a part of my ADHD as I'm getting older and I'm kind of like seeing these different things, or my desire for being the center of attention as a child. I don't know, but as I'm starting to take these layers of my life and starting to analyze them, okay, from using the app, from holding myself accountable, from trying to improve myself every day, I'm seeing that instead of letting my brain constantly wander and overthink, to disconnect that, okay, and meditation, which is another daily task, has helped me accomplish this goal, to shut my brain off and to be present in the moment and to be intentional. So all these little things in the app have helped me see tremendous results, And I'm not saying that you have to hit every daily task in the app, because here's the truth. I mean, I can't drill and I can't live roll every day. Like I'm 40 years old. There's no way that I'm able to sit there and put my body 7 days a week into live rolling. Drilling wise, I've expanded the drilling tab just a little bit, because I think as long as you're drilling something that improves you beyond the same thing that you're doing every day and existing, that's a win, right? So like I added that, you know what, I'm going to do 50 push-ups every day on top of all the other things that I do. Any type of training, any type of extra daily habits that I'm doing, I'm going to do 50 extra push-ups on top of that. Then I'm going to try to complete the quest inside the app, right? So like I want to earn the backpack the correct way, that the app was intended to earn the backpack. So how do I do that? Every day I'm trying to hit this daily goal of hitting a certain drill inside the app. So right now I'm on 1,000 rear naked chokes, and I think I'm at 500 of 1,000 rear naked chokes. But I'll show up to class and I'll ask one of my students, hey, you know what, can I drill 200 rear naked chokes on you? Or maybe it's a busy night and things are really crazy, especially like in Terre Haute, a lot of times it goes right from kids class to adult class. So I'll be like, hey, can I drill 50 rear naked chokes on you? I mean, anything is moving you forward on top of just the ordinary showing up in existing stage, right? So the quest has been really cool to me, because I think I'm on like stage 5 right now, and there's 8 stages. It's 8,000 total reps, and I'm at 5,000 total reps basically, or I'm almost to 5,000 reps. But it's cool because in the drill tab, I've been logging into the drill tab. Okay, I completed 200 rear naked chokes today. I'm at 500 of 1,000. Oh, I completed 100 rear naked chokes today. I'm at 100 of 1,000. Like, it's been cool to see the results and to see, you know, like to be able to go back to the expand tab and to see what the one detail I was that I learned yesterday, what the one detail I learned the day before. And it kind of like re-triggers your brain to remember that entire content and to say, oh, you know, I remember why I like that, and you know, how I can apply that to your game daily. Where instead we watch a video, we say, oh yeah, I like that, that was cool, I like that move, we drill that move once or twice in class, and then, you know, 3 months later we forget about that move and that move never existed. um, that's the way that I spent my entire career. Was I would watch a video and you know, I drill the moves a few times, and then next thing you know, I don't even remember what that move ever again was. So be intentional with using the app, be intentional with the people in your life, and be intentional with getting your jiu-jitsu to the next level. That's the whole purpose of this app. And I'm going to dive in now to exactly how I do my journaling process. So let's go to the next scene. All right. So we have our content, our network, our daily task. We're going to click our journals. I designed it so that you guys had jiu-jitsu journals, but you also had life journals, because I mean, here's the thing. If you can't get your life under control, right, your jiu-jitsu is going to struggle too. So it's important that you explore both journals. And when you're having hard days, or you're having days of frustration, or you're having days that, you know, you feel like you can't get anywhere in your life, each one of these journals is like 10 to 15 questions, and it's going to help really explore some of those emotions. And if you can just get those emotions out of the way, right? If I can journal these emotions and allow them to be put into a file, which they're going to be sent to an email, and you know, I created a folder inside my email, and from there, it's like I have all these journals and I have all my thoughts stored, that I can get rid of the thoughts wandering in my mind, and I can actually sit there and focus on whatever it is that I need to focus on. Okay. Now, real quick, the monthly blueprint, you should do that at the end of every month. The last day of every month, you should do a monthly blueprint. It's pretty simple. The questions are really quick. They'll basically be like, how many journals do you plan on doing this month? How many live rolling rounds do you plan on doing this month? You know, what do you plan on focusing on drilling this month? It took me 5 to 10 minutes to complete it. Um, and then you can do the recap, right? And that's really simple, because here's the thing. Once I complete the monthly blueprint, now I'm going to go in and hit my daily tasks every day. And every day that I hit those daily tasks, it's going to give me a statistical number, okay? So, like, I can look and say, all right, you know what? I checked in 30 times for this month to get my focus point. That means I completed 30 journals. You have to complete one journal to get a focus point, okay? So I completed 30 journals. Then I can go into my drill tab and I can say, oh, you know, I drilled every day for the month, or I drilled 20 of 30 days for the month. So my goal was to drill 15 of 30 days for the month, so I went 5 over. You know, like it's basically just going to do a quick recap of whether you reached your goal or not, and you'll be able to kind of look back and say, you know what, maybe I'm not getting the full results I want because I'm actually not applying myself. I'm again doing the motions, and I need to get back on track. So today, let's do, you know, we will do a training journal, okay? And what are we going to title this journal? You know, the thing is when it sends you the email, this is what the title of the journal is going to be. And it's going to be my all right, so what's currently on your mind from your training experience? All right, so So you're just going through these questions, right? And you're doing these journals, and it doesn't have to be perfect. Your grammar doesn't have to be perfect. You're gonna hit areas where you have blocks, and that's the thing, right? Like if you think about this, how many times when you're live rolling, how many times when you're doing certain motions in life, do you hit blocks and you don't know how to move forward or you get stuck, right? So like you start a live rolling round and whatever technique you learned or whatever technique you want to do, it goes out the window. The same thing is happening in this journal process, okay? Like I never I never imagined that I would sit here and do a journal on on a podcast. That's an intimidating factor on top of trying to think off my head exactly what I want to say in my journal, okay? But here's the thing. If you can get past that little comfortable stage of existing and you could start taking ownership, right? And get out of your head, you can get to the next stage of the journaling process, to the next stage of your life, of your jiu-jitsu. So that's kind of what I want to create within this podcast, is for people to see that the process isn't going to be easy, but any process that you start isn't going to be easy, and it's going to start the same way where you're going to doubt yourself. So what area do you need to improve in and want to change immediately? I'd really like to stop. So this is a big one for me because I think sometimes I've had so many injuries, like my low back, my neck, and at 136 pounds, I struggle a lot sometimes to want to put my body through war at 40 years old. But I also have to realize, like, one, it's okay to lose. I have to be okay with losing. We're all going to lose, okay? And it doesn't matter who we lose to. It doesn't matter, okay, like I'm a black belt. Um, I'm going to make a mistake. Heck, I had a white belt sweep me yesterday when I was getting lazy with the technique, and here's the other thing that you have to realize too. When you start doing new things, you're going to be a white belt at those things again. So, you know, I can have some of the best guard retention and some of the best passing for in the sport, but if I dive into the leg lock aspect of it now, I'm going to be a white belt again. So you have to embrace that process and not allow that to fully get inside your head as a practitioner. So that's one area that I definitely need to work on. What is causing your game to stay stagnant in the cosmic loop of repeating the patterns without adapting to new challenges? That's the thing of that gets all of us in life, no matter if it's jiu-jitsu or whatever. What is the cosmic loop in your life that you are continually doing the same thing over and over again, hoping that the results will finally change? And that's a good question. Let's see. I think that I am. So That's a good one for me because I do allow as an instructor and being in the sport for so long, it's hard for me to be like, all right, I'm gonna go after it. I'm gonna go after it. I'm gonna go after it. Um, and I just allow people like, all right, what do you want? What do you want? Here you go. Here you go. You know, and I know that my technique is probably going to be good enough to either negate it or to beat it. But then if I'm going to compete, right, I'm going to have that show up because that's the way that I'm showing up. So that's one area that I really need to work on, and I feel like that was a good kind of discovery within this journal. I think again, I think, and these things are can be kind of repetitive, but they will allow you to a little bit dive in. So the discovery was that I'm allowing people to do whatever they want, and I'm playing off that. So all right, so that was a good one. I like that one, right? So I think about it like this: what if I just one day a week, right? What if one day a week, or or even a couple times a month, whatever it is, I just don't do any. I don't allow anyone to get any type of grip or what they would like out of the entire process, right? Like I go after them, and no matter what, I fail, I get swept, I get tapped, but I'm going after what I want to go after, and just kind of see if that allows my game to go two different ways and give me two different training patterns instead of the same habits that I've kind of been doing, which is again essentially existing. Do you have any specific areas in your training that you should be improved or added? I think that my chaining of my leg locks. Let's see. All right, that was a good one. What are your desired outcomes from this future? I would like. What was our biggest takeaway? Uh, um, I think that's the biggest one is that we're going to try just at least one day a week or even a few times a month, whatever it is, um, to not allow things. So as far as my level of training yesterday, I'm gonna rate it a 4. I can definitely boost this. How can I improve this number and boost future training? So this is I like this. This is another discovery. Okay. I didn't think about it before, but like when you're live rolling, right? Are you like, all right, we put the timer on, live roll, go for it. Okay. Which is what everyone does. But the thing here is, okay, if you actually wrote down an area that you wanted to focus on, what would be the results then? Would you have more success or would you just again exist, two people roll, you get done, you shake hands, and I'm not saying that's bad because I still like that type of live rolling, but imagine if I only wanted to get really good at beating the knee shield. So that's all I focused on for the entire class was putting everyone in the knee shield or everyone putting me in the knee shield and then really capitalizing on improving that. How much more value I would get on being able to take that huge leap in my game instead of just these small little leaps here and there, hoping that one day you put it all together. So, and then the final part of it, you throw your address in there, you submit, and boom. Okay, that journal's complete. You click complete, you get your achievement point for the day. Okay, so here's the cool thing: you're going to get all your activities. Your total activities completed will come over here. 466 activities completed, a 57-day streak. Hopefully those minutes aren't correct, but I think it's from when I was working on creating the app. So now that we have finished that journal, it's gonna go into this focus tab right here. Okay, and then all your focus tabs, all your journals summaries will be here, and they'll all be in your email too. And then you'll be able to see kind of where everyone else is at and where everybody else is, like where they've kind of put their process at and done their prioritizing. But the big thing is I like to put the screenshot, right? Like of exactly what I was working on. Just so that like when I go back on it, I like to sometimes just dive back in and say, "Oh, you know what? I do remember that journal," or, that's it's again, it's just like the expand tab. So we also will show like today I did the expand tab, right? Like this took me 5 minutes today. Like I was watching one of Andrew's reels popped up and just one of the details stuck out to me. So I was able to discover and declare that the way that I like that he addressed the knee shield, and I post the screenshot that completed that for the day, right? You can see where I'm at. You can see like the days that it's been 0 days since I've checked in. I've got 66 total points, and then you can see where everybody else's points are at. Okay, and that's the thing. Like the whole process is that I hope that one, you see other people's progression and it motivates you or it inspires you and it says, you know what, I like what they did. I'm going to do that too, right? Or you're looking at it and you're like, you know what, I see why I'm not getting the results on the mats, or I see why I'm not getting the results in my relationships or my business because I'm not living by any type of code. I'm just existing. Um, So that's the expand tab. The person tab um, is again choosing a person, right? Like today I chose Mandy. I've really been trying to be more intentional in our relationship and be a better partner because growing up, I never really had like a great example of what it was to be a great partner. And I just existed. Once again, I just kind of thought, you know what? You show up to a relationship, you go to work, you come home, that's it. That's all you need to do. But like the work we put into our jiu-jitsu, we will study jiu-jitsu, we'll show up to jiu-jitsu, and then we won't do that with our significant others. So that's the whole road that I've been down this year is trying to be more intentional with the people in my life. Now here's the thing, okay? Once you complete any one of these tasks, okay, so I completed the person task today, I completed the expand tab today so far, and I completed the focus tab today. Once you do that, you need to go over to content. You need to drop down to the daily task, right? And all you have to do is click, I completed my focus for the day, I get my one achievement point, right? I completed my expand for the day, I get my one achievement, right? I completed my person for the day, I get my one achievement, okay? So that's where I'm at for that. Now, the neat thing is, you can also go in here and you can just see where you're at for the day, right? So, the training journal, I did that 4 minutes ago. I've done all of these today. As far as my other ones, they're 14 hours ago. So, if you're like, you know what, I don't know if I got credit or I clicked that button, you can go to your activity tab and you can see exactly where you're at. And that way you can kind of have a guide to keep you focused. And the neat thing is, this app is only in the beginning stage. I have so many other directions I want to go with the app that it's going to continue to evolve. That's the whole process. Getting our game to the next level and constantly evolving, okay? So hold yourself accountable. If you haven't downloaded the app, download the app on iOS or Android, Google Play, and don't overwhelm yourself. Take it one day at a time, but just take it one day at a time and try to expand yourself in one way every day, okay? So start with the boot camp, create your profile, start diving into the boot camp, and start communicating with the community and just see, what happens in 30 days. Give it 30 days of trying to improve yourself a little bit every day in the app, on the mats, and in your life, and see where you're at. And if you're not expanding or improving, then you need to work harder. But I appreciate you guys watching episode 3, and I hope you have a great day.